Good morning, beloveds. Sorry, I got distracted by a cat in my face. Wasn't looking at the time, so I'm running a little behind today. But you know what? It's Sunday. It is the Sabbath. It is the day of rest, which is ironic when you consider that Sunday is the definite day that ministers work. But it is the day that I take the physical rest and let myself sleep in a little bit and do that. So I was sitting on the couch, and the cat was in my face, and he's not one that gets in my face very often. So I was trying to give him some love, and then I looked down at the clock and went, "Oh, gotta go." But it's that's one of the things that makes life good. When you have a furry loved one, if you can, and they are in your face going, "Love me." They are about as close to unconditional love as we're going to get outside of spirit, honestly. Yes, the condition is that we feed them, but they love us, and they love us even when we don't deserve it. You're always worthy of love. Never think that you're not. But sometimes we do things that would make your furry companions go, "I don't know about you." And they don't do that. They don't judge you. They don't judge you on your hair. They don't judge you on your clothes. And they don't judge you on, if you're cranky or not. In fact, I got one who, Rita, the crankier you are, the more she's like in your face going, "Please, I love you. Calm down. It'll be better." She's my little healer. So I enjoy living with the different personalities of the furballs. They keep life interesting. Okay, so today is July 26th. It is Sunday. That means that we will have a Sunday service for you very soon, right here. And our title today is "I Live in the Life of God." And our quote is, "It is the Spirit that quickeneth." And that is from John 6:63. Sometimes the Bible quotes can be a challenge because of the words that they use. So let's see what quickeneth means today. Okay. All life is one life. Just as every physical substance known derives from the one universal energy, so there is but one life principle, which is God, in which we all live and from which infinite source our individual lives are drawn. If this one life is present everywhere, it is also within me, or also within us. Also within us. To say that the life of God is the only life there is means that my life is not only in God and of God and from God, it is God, in and through me. If this were not true, I would have a life separate from God, which is unthinkable and impossible. But if it is true that the life of God is my life now, how wrongly I must have been thinking about this life. I have judged it falsely and condemned it unnecessarily, and in every way, shape, and manner in my ignorance, I have denied the very thing I should be affirming. There is one life. That life is God, and that life is my life now. In God I live and move and have my being, and God lives in me and moves through me. I deny then that there is any life separate from good, and I affirm that every organ, action, and function of my physical body is animated by the divine life that created and sustains it. It is this life that is circulating through me now, in happiness, in harmony, and with perfect rhythm. I am one with the whole. Therefore, I say to my mind, you are to live and think and feel this truth until it is spontaneous and natural. And when you say, God is my life, you are to know that the entire life of the divine and perfect presence is now flowing through you. I affirm this today. The life of God is the only life there is. That life is my life now, complete and perfect. Ernest isn't pulling any punches today. I live my life in God. All right. Okay, so if you listen to Reverend Jesse pray, and I've heard other ministers do this too, all life is one life. All life is one life. And then there is one life, that life is God, that life is my life now. Jesse uses that. I've heard lots of other ministers use that. I've even used that. It's a very, I'm going to use the word famous quote from Holmes. And a lot of ministers and a lot of practitioners will start treatments that way. They'll start their prayers that way. Because it's the first step of treatment. Recognition. There's one life. All life is one life. Just as every physical substance known derives from one universal energy, meaning it's God's stuff, so there is but one life principle, which is God, in which we live and from which infinite source our individual lives are drawn. Okay, so God is life, all life, and our individual lives are drawn from the infinite source of God. But now, he's been saying this the whole time. Honest to God, he's been saying it the whole time. But every now and again, he's going to say, I'm going to use it in plain English. Plain English. Unless he was doing it in French. You know, plain French. But we're doing it in English. If this one life is present everywhere, it is also within us. We are made up of the building blocks, the same building blocks that everything else is, and everything is God. Those building blocks are God. Consciousness goes all the way down. To say that the life of God is the only life there is means that my life is not only in God and of God and from God. So in God, my life is in God. My life is of God, which can be a terrifying phrase, I know. We think of I was raised Catholic, so you think of the saints. They're of God. Well, you know what? So are you. And you don't have to do, what those saints did to be of God. You naturally are of God. And from God. We are all gifts of God. We are all gifts from God. Our lives are gifts from God. What we make of them is our gift to God. I didn't make that up. I got that from Jesse. It is God in and through me. Now, depending on your feeling about God, that could be a terrifying phrase. What Science of Mind is here to do is to remind you that God is not that great accountant in the sky. That God is that divine patterning intelligence. That God is love. That God is joy. That God is peace. That God is happiness. That the world works on a law that doesn't judge, and we have the opportunity to misuse that law. It is not God punishing us, it is us misusing the law. God is good. So, our life is God in and through us. If this were not true, I would have a life separate from God, which is unthinkable and impossible. I mean, based on his previous statements, everything is God, therefore your life is God. But if it is true that the life of God is my life now, and here's where he's going to go, have you thought about this? When I say he's not pulling any punches. Okay, but if it is true that the life of God is my life now, How wrongly must I have been thinking about this life? I have judged it falsely and condemned it unnecessarily. And in every way, shape, and manner, in my ignorance, I have denied the very thing I should be affirming. When you say you are not worthy, you are denying that your life is God. And you are denying that your life is good. I'm not saying it's not hard, but your life is good because it is the good that you make of it. So, it's just one short sentence of, have you thought about what you've been doing with this life of God? Your life is of God. You don't have to be a saint in the traditional Catholic sense to have a life of God. You are a divine expression. There is one life. That life is God, and that life is my life now. In God I live and move and have my being. And God lives in me and moves through me. That's one of the reasons why the statement that God can't do for you what God can't do through you is so important. Because everything around you is God. And God does want you to be happy and to have the things that you desire. But God works through you because God is you. I deny then that there is any life separate from good. And he uses the word good there. I deny then that there is any life separate from good. And I affirm that every organ, action, and function of my physical body is animated by the divine life that created and sustains it. So when you are having one of those moments and things aren't working so great, that is a sentence to use. I affirm that every organ, action, and function of my physical body is animated by the divine life that created and sustains it. It is this life that is circulating through me now in happiness, in harmony, and with perfect rhythm. So sit there for a moment and feel that circulation. Feel that happiness, that harmony, that perfect rhythm of God circulating through you. Because it is. But have we taken the time to get quiet and feel that? I am one with the whole. Therefore, I say to my mind, you are to live and think and feel this truth until it is spontaneous and natural. So you are to live and think and feel this truth, meaning practice. Practice feeling this until it is spontaneous and natural, until it is your first response instead of you having to work towards it. And when you say, God is my life, you are to know that the entire life of the divine and perfect presence is now flowing through you. I affirm this today. The life of God is the only life there is, and that life is my life now, complete and perfect. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to say and know, God is my life. The entire life of the divine and perfect presence is flowing through us until it becomes spontaneous and natural. All right. That is Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind 365 today. I'm going to go eat breakfast so that I am ready for the live stream. But as always, I encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. If you live in the Houston area, Hannah made landfall yesterday. The weather could be interesting today, or it could be beautiful. We have no idea. It's a hurricane. Welcome to hurricane season. I haven't turned on the news, so I don't know what's going on. We had some good rain yesterday, but I was able to open my windows, get some fresh air, and get that fresh perspective. So I encourage you to do that. Even if you can't open your windows, if the weather is too much for that, do get some fresh air. Do get some movement in. Do something that excites the mind and the body, so that you can get your groove on and make it a fantastic day. All right, beloveds? I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Reverend David will be on sometime around 5, and we will be with you at 11 a.m. from the sanctuary until we can all be together again. You can watch us right here on these screens, comfy in your pajamas on your couch with your coffee. All right, beloveds, have a fantastic day. I will see you in a little while.